Oh, hey, Jono.
Hey, we are at tWoTcast, episode 311.
No, he doesn't have. No. Okay.
All right, everyone shut the up. Let's ready to record.
We like to start every show by yelling, "We are tWoTcast." Can you do that with me? On the count of 1, 2, 3, go. We are tWoTcast. Now we can start.
The Wheel of Time, reread podcast, explicit and R, freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man, he's a total dick. Tom is still obsessed with X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
We are
I didn't know you were going to stop then.
You never do.
Yeah,
It's
I
always
never.
a gamble.
You're viewing and listening to tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time reread podcast, now covering season 1 of the Wheel of Time show called tWoT Show. I'm Jono. With me is Joe,
Oh, hey, Jono.
Tom,
Hey, man.
Clear math. I don't know how you can do that. I always get it wrong.
Yeah, I'm always backwards.
Can't do
I
it.
always fuck it up.
It's a
Every
weird
time.
skill.
Joe, and Tom. Oh, and Devil Hordes apparently. Yeah, but good enough. I assume we all see the same angles. Yeah.
No, we do.
Okay.
I'm just really bad at the reverse camera thing. Like, I would have.
See, I was
been
just
really
trying to
bad.
point at Joe. Failed.
Oh, hey, boys.
Opposite.
Hello. Well, we have a very special episode. It's tWoTcast.
Oh,
Jam-packed with guests.
Guests,
we got a
people.
lot of guests. You want to bring our first guests out? Let's just
Well, I
get
don't
to
know
it.
who it is. Let's get to it, Joe.
to it. Guys, we're going to introduce our tWoTcast quest. Quest?
tWoT Quest.
How do you say
Yeah,
it?
that's going to be.
tWoT Quest.
When
That's
we
a
get
tongue
drunker, I
twister.
can't wait to hear that.
Oh, it's going to get bad. Here's our
Twat.
here's our
I can't do it. Twat Quest guest.
Dungeon Master.
Dungeon
That's
Master.
Frolic Talk.
At Trollic Talk. Trollic Talk being, of course, a
And-
very important person.
Hello.
Hey, Clint.
How's it
And
going?
our other two players are going to be the Leafcast boys, Ryan and Dan. We're going to bring it in right now.
Oh, I thought this was going to be the moment where you let them know they weren't going to be on it and Leslie was going to be on it.
Oh, that's right. I did say I was going to do that. I did.
All
say
right,
that.
everybody say twat quest.
Hey
What?
Tom, I got a football. Tom, go long, go long.
That's why I'm so tired. I was watching football all night last night.
The twat show, what you want?
Jesus.
Twat Quest guest.
Well, that.
Go ahead, my,
Twat quest guest.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hello.
Right.
Next.
Next
Excited.
time I'm going to
Just
wear
take
my
a-
twat quest guest vest.
Oh.
There you go.
Are you gonna wear the best twat quest vest guest?
The twist.
Well, I mixed it up.
This
Fuck,
is
I
what
have
it's
to
going to be like. Every week.
Every week.
Our twat guests are going to be playing Twat Quest with us.
So, Clint, Mr. Dr. Trollic Talk, tell us what tWoT Quest will be.
Twat quest will be an original, all new, content loaded RPG D&D like quest where you 5 will be navigating your amazingly cool adventuring party characters through an original adventure designed by me, stealing a bit from Dungeons and Dragons and also the old Wheel of Time RPG book.
Now,
like-
tell us what D&D means.
Yeah, I probably should. Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons, the original of all
Yeah.
big role-playing games. It's sort of like Pathfinder, but the
No,
first
no one
one.
doesn't know that.
Yeah, seriously, come on.
I don't know what Pathfinder
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll say this: if I'm going to say D&D, and then I'm going to say Dungeons and Dragons, I don't think one is more recognizable than the other.
Well, it depends.
That's a very good
I sometimes think D's means something different, like penis,
Oh.
dick. So that's
Yeah, but I learned a long time ago not to
Well,
bother pandering to you.
yeah, as you should.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's gonna be an exciting thing. We're gonna start here when?
That's next Tuesday, right?
Oh, very exciting. Good job there, Mr. Dungeon Master. Are there
Dan is
what?
asking if there's WoT spoilers for first-time readers. Not while we're talking about tWoTcast, but when we get into our discussion of season 1, definitely.
It's the
Is she
tWoTcast
asking-
is going
is she asking
to.
if the game will have spoilers?
I think
Correct.
so.
If that's what she's getting into, then we do need to maybe like write a very concise version of what we think the spoilers will be. But like, Clint, if you want to riff on it for a second, go for it.
Yeah, I'll riff on it and we'll see if we can describe it better later. But I think what I was asked to do was to try and keep it certainly plot wise to within the first season of the TV show, which I've done. But there will probably be some, just even by the nature of the characters, there'll be stuff from the broader world of the Wheel of Time that's definitely going to show up in our game.
Now, can I ask you a question? Do we call them broads anymore?
Are you asking if your character can?
Them? Who's them?
Yeah. They. It's called they.
You mean a certain type of ship in the sea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That do be right.
Uh-huh.
I love Joe's reticent laugh and Tom's just
glare.
Oh, sorry. Should I have been more on point with that?
Well earned glare.
Thank you.
There you go.
I was just thinking
some spoilers. Some spoilers in the sense of like the world of the Wheel of Time. Nothing that would mess with the plot. I'm trying to stay away from any of that. But otherwise, plot wise, I'm not trying to get anywhere near the Emansfield 5 and all that stuff. Although I did have this great idea for a while to make it all like Life of Brian, where you guys like follow them 2 steps behind the entire way, but it's just going to be way too difficult to do. So it'll be your own adventure in the Wheel of Time world. And
His name ain't
that's the best explanation I
Red.
can give off the cup.
It's
I'll see if I can write something up better.
It's Lipitor.
really entertaining.
I'll be honest, I would love a version of that. It would be such a fun, especially considering almost the tumultuous fuck-uppiness of certain things that happen in the show versus the books. Like
It
that
would
would
go
just be a
right.
delightful, like, righting a wrong almost. Well, that's not.
I wanted so badly. I thought for a long time about how I could make it happen. And frankly, actually, it was once the show, because I was thinking about that before the show started, long we first started kind of chatting about this. And once the show started, I was like, there's no fucking way. I can't have you guys closely follow what they're doing. No, it wouldn't be.
Apparently, watch this.
It would take us 8 episodes to get through chapter 1 if we were.
Rafe already had that idea. That's what he did.
I would constantly run off and try to join the main party. Leave you guys behind.
Hey, I hear there's these people out there.
How crazy would it be if we ended up making a more faithful adaptation to the Eye of the World in our D&D game?
Like accidentally.
Lipitor, I
it wouldn't-
guarantee you, has expressive eyebrows, right, Ryan?
Oh,
wouldn't
man,
be
the
that-
biggest
it wouldn't
ears.
be that difficult. Yeah. Do we want to intro our characters right now? Or?
Let's say
No.
that.
I mean, Dan and Ryan are already in character, I think.
And we did kind of already do it on 2 other episodes.
Yeah, we brainstormed it out.
Yeah.
I think that's good
We
enough for
brainstormed
now.
our characters. Yeah, okay.
So next week, the adventuring begins. Huzzah!
The adventure will begin.
tWoTcast. Or
Well,
I know a lot of
I
guys are
it
very-
drunkenly.
I am super stoked. I've been excited for this for a long time. You've been working on this for a long time. I can't wait to see the fruits of your labor finally come to fruition. And yeah,
He's
this is
talking
gonna
to
be
just Clint, by the way. We've done
just
no
Clint.
work.
No,
It's
you
all
guys haven't
Clint.
done shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking all Clint.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Just
can't.
look-
Yeah,
all
I
these
can't
guys
wait.
keep going like, why
Yeah.
did you sign up for this? And I honestly have no idea. I just like playing games. So let's hopefully it'll be a good game. You guys are a goofy bunch of fuckers. So I think it's going to be a riot. Hopefully you don't derail me too far. We'll see if you guys, despite your best efforts, can actually accomplish the quest at all. But
Probably not.
I have faith in you guys. I have faith.
Just don't reveal how long we've been.
Odds
making
are,
it.
I think it's back early and often. Yeah.
If people see the final product and they know that it's been we've been working on it for 2
1
years.
week.
Like Jesus.
Yeah.
$10 million an episode, huh?
So yeah, I mean, I have been getting a lot of questions on Twitter and stuff about exactly how we're setting the game up, and is it going to be a really technical adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, or am I borrowing something from earlier editions, and what exactly am I using from the RPG? I'm going to try and hop on tWoTcast's Discord sometime this week. It'll probably be last minute, and chat a little bit about some of those things, but it's definitely going to be more stripped down than regular Dungeons and Dragons. A lot less.
Yeah, we're just gonna we're gonna
crunching numbers and things like
you're
that.
gonna let us be idiots, and you're gonna try to keep us on rails.
Yeah.
And it'll be
That's
an interesting
Hey.
battle.
Idiot. Hey, I'm sorry, idiots. No, I'm going to be developing a nuanced character. You're going to be watching the onion peels layer upon layer grow on you.
Or make you cry. He'll make you
You're not going to
laugh.
see the onion like layers unveil. You're going to see them hardening and getting further and further entrenched.
We're gonna have emotional moments.
All right, that sounds I mean, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh when you guys actually.
If you guys saw the character arc I have planned for Glowstick IU, it's gonna put you to shame.
Oh, no.
a character who has yet to actually have an actual name.
All right, guys, whatever. My big
He goes by Glowstick IU.
You will soon learn that my big move is I will sit behind you on my hands and knees and have someone push you, and you will fall over me.
And you'll say, "You stepped on me."
You do not cross me.
I don't know. If we can.
Isn't that too high though? Like an ogier, assuming
Right?
an ogier
Yeah,
is probably like
it's gonna give you
16.
whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when I fall, it's an event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
If someone pushed me over you when you were standing behind, like on your on
Well,
all fours
my
behind me,
parents would,
I would just hit you like a giant table and be fine.
Yeah. No. Am I a legit ogier? I think my parents would have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Describe
very
what you
off
are.
topic, but
Ryan, you
Dana
are
wants
pretty
to know
young.
if you'll be at Jordan Con, Clint.
I'm hoping if I can, get some tickets. Still
Will
kind
you
of
be
waiting
going
for
in
them.
full
Oh, I
face?
think 100 just went
Yeah,
on
there's-
sale.
100 went on sale today,
Did they?
or no?
Clint,
No,
leave
this
right
weekend. No, this weekend. I thought,
Yeah,
Dan.
this weekend. Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I
14th, I
told
thought.
so many
14th.
people to tell me when that happened. Is it too late?
No, I think it's the
I'll do it right
14th.
now.
You're
Yeah.
good.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see how you're gonna handle this digital avatar of yours. You're gonna have like a TV. You're gonna walk around with a TV on your head like Max Headroom.
Max Headroom. Yeah. Exactly.
It's gonna be
Oh,
like
fuck
two
yeah.
pieces of cardboard. I'm just gonna have them like velcroed to my hands and just like walk around my hands in front of my face with 2 pieces of cardboard. That's
No.
like all it's gonna be.
We've done that.
I'm seeing an
He's gonna dress
iPad.
in all.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Oh,
dress
take-
in all black
Uh-huh.
and then just have.
an iPad. How about just
Two
an
pieces of
iPad? Oh, you can do that all
Yeah.
cardboard. Yeah, your face could.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Cardboard, man.
It's gonna be hard to drink.
Construction paper.
Tom, you can drink through those onesie suits. You just drink straight through it. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
100
Let's-
tickets
yeah,
on Friday.
Looks like,
Like,
looks like they're still on
how-
sale.
Well, I think they're going up on Friday at 7. Dana's saying.
Oh, is that what it is?
But it's only 100
Okay.
tickets.
Yeah.
I wonder how
Thank you,
fast that's going to
Daniel.
go. I feel like it's going to go in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, Stanley. Thank you very much.
I think people have
Right,
people like since the show, or do you think it's actually going to be like the Avalanche run on JordanCon right now, or what?
You like drag?
Maybe not.
Well, and last
I
year there
love-
wasn't really an in-person one, right?
There was. It was in the middle
Last
of
one was.
July.
Okay.
Yeah, they pushed it,
It was
to
in the middle
July,
of July.
Okay.
which was weird. Yeah.
But the one in 2020 was virtual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the. I've got a lot of jokes. It doesn't matter. They're all shitty jokes. Yeah, I know you guys are very surprised to hear that.
Twadcast
I don't know, I'm just
talk
fucking-
is veered into JordanCon talk.
Well, let's
Yeah.
talk. Well,
You know what
let's
it
talk
is.
about let's talk TalkQuest. Who's going to be doing an actual voice character?
I will.
Just okay. There you
Clint
go.
doesn't have many voices.
Okay, no, you'll be in character.
These are the important questions. I want to know this myself.
John, are you gonna have a voice for your?
What's
for your
the
character?
plan here, guys? How far are we taking this?
I may.
I want to be surprised.
Find
Not
out
quite
next
the
week
Wilder.
on
No, but you don't want to be the only person with a voice. Then you're that one
I
guy
will-
at the
I will-
table, the Uber nerd, just being like,
Yep.
like, oh, here he goes playing his elf character again. Uber nerd, the one guy doing a voice.
Well, on that note,
The edgelord.
Ryan, I'll answer the question. I probably won't because I'm horrible at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am horrible at voices, but I kind of want Dan to do a voice because he's great at them.
I may.
Well,
Maybe
Dan's
off and
great at voices.
I may.
I don't really care if you guys do the voices, but definitely if we're like in a scene where you're like standing on the bridge and the giants, obviously we're not talking about the actual game, but some giant creature is in front of you and you have to negotiate with it and you're saying like, and I yell at him, at least, as long as you have the energy in what you're saying, you don't actually have to do a voice. But if you're like standing there, like telling the giant, like "fuck you, let us across the bridge," I definitely don't want to hear. So I tell him, "Fuck you, let us across the bridge."
Oh no, don't worry about that. Yeah. There's going to be more energy than you're expecting, but I'm just wondering though, like, would maybe the audience could tell me, like, do they want a voice or not? I don't know. I worry I kind of want to do a voice, but I don't know.
Do it.
Never mind.
Do it.
Oh, we got a week.
Every one of you, and every one of you who's inclined to do it should do it.
I want Lipitor. Every time someone asks Lipitor a question, he goes, "Honey," and then says, he tells everyone, "Honey."
All right. I'm fucking excited for next week. Also, who's got the goddamn echo? When I hear myself.
You're hearing
so this
yourself,
is going to be our-
yourself.
And I'm touching myself.
There you go.
All right, let's. We've got some guests waiting. You guys do not have to go unless you want to. We have. Actually, are they waiting, Joe? I cannot see.
There's no one waiting.
Yes.
No, but Ryan, I
That's
took
how we
the
like
hint.
it to be.
Yeah,
Thank
no, I
you,
see
Tono.
that. Yeah,
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
yeah.
I told you to fucking say.
Well-
Was that the door knock? No, they just pulled up though. I'm sure they're coming right in. It's okay.
That's not the point.
You know who
The
else
point
is-
is we're about to talk about season 1 spoiler review. And we're going to break down via characters, sort of. That being said, if you guys want to hang out, totally fine, and we'd love to see.
I think you guys have read the
And
book
if not,
and watched the series.
also totally fine.
That's correct.
I'm gonna duck. I love you guys. I can't wait to kick some fantasy ass next week. Thanks again,
I'm
Clint.
super
Thank you,
psyched.
All right,
Podcast,
yeah,
for
everybody.
having me part of this,
Looking
man.
forward to it, guys. It's gonna be great.
Have a
All right,
great
Ryan,
time. We'll
Dan.
see you later at the Leafcast starting at 7:30.
Yeah, we'll see you in like
It's
at
coming up.
10:30
What
here. So
time's your show?
An hour. In like
The
an hour.
Leafcast
And
in an
put a
hour.
link put a link in our show somewhere. All right,
That-
Joe, you piece
that's
of-
great. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
check's in the mail.
I believe there is.
All right, bye.
Don't fucking tell him where the check is. Joe, who else?
I'll
we got
hang
let's-
out if that's cool, you know.
Clint's gonna
Oh,
hang
fuck
out.
yeah,
That's
why not?
totally fine, of course. Let's bring in
I mean, until you guys just
lesbian
like
nerdy.
irritate me, then I'm just gonna duck.
Yay!
Let's
Hey,
go.
Christy. Holy.
Yay!
Hey!
Oh, hello.
Oh, Dickies.
Hey,
Hi,
there's
Christy.
another
Hi,
head.
Jenny.
There's another head in here. Hello.
There is. There is another head in there.
I need the screen
Yeah.
bigger. I need to make it bigger. I need it bigger.
I have that same issue.
So last week
I was
we
about
covered.
to thank
What's that?
Jono for restraint, but
I forgot
Yeah.
we were gonna have two floating heads on this episode.
Yeah.
mine doesn't float. It kind of just holds right in place. It's the mandible.
Yeah, it's
that
just
floats.
there.
Yeah,
This is
mine has more movement to it.
Clint, you're like a like one of
So-
those like kind of suction dildos you put to a mirror, depending on. And lesbian, you're more freeform, and I appreciate that.
Literally been like 1 minute, and you already said the word dildo. Are you serious?
Yeah, I was literally
always
just
serious.
thinking that.
Jono's
welcome.
always serious when he's talking about such things.
Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah. This is the most serious I've fucking been.
We asked Jenny on just to put Trolloc Talk to shame.
Wait. This is the one I wanted to put there. Also, we say fuck a lot, but really, it was for Jono's dildo comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're
I
gonna
was
talk
thinking
about
the dildos
season
were
1.
Are the dildos
The
spoilers?
dildos are a spoiler.
Yes.
Did you
Okay.
see that one? Did you see
I feel like
the
that's
Oath
an
Rod scene?
outside. That's
Okay,
a very medieval
did you-
kind of look at it.
Did you hear the interview with Rosamund Pike on what podcast
Yes,
it
I
was,
loved it.
where they talked
Perfect.
about how they
Yeah.
actually had to work on how to hold the oath rod so it didn't look like a dildo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Grabbing a cock.
They
they got
failed.
succeeded. Yeah.
They failed.
No, they succeeded.
They-
Do not put like cocks in the hands of the lesbians. That's just not what happened there.
This is very, very disappointing show.
This is already great.
This is already gonna fit.
Guys, we're going
You just see like the
to
fucking veins
talk
popping
about
out, like,
the
look,
TV
I'm out.
show and the books. Spoilers for the whole season. And we're going to do it by focusing on certain characters. We already did talk about Lan and Moraine and Egwene and Nynaeve in the last episode. So we're going to kind of focus on a lot of the
The
boys.
boys.
Oh
It'll be
yeah.
interesting.
I thought when Jane found out it was fun.
But also we got like a little bit of, we could throw some Pat and Fane in there. We talk about whatever.
Anyway.
Padon Fain. Well,
What do you guys want to talk about?
I want to talk
What
about
characters
the
we have left?
characters, the railless balconies, since we have new people.
Oh, okay, we can talk. Do you want to talk about railless balconies?
I
Let's
ranted
talk
about
about
the
our
railless
favorite
balconies
characters.
a lot on my
Flips
channel,
and
actually.
insanely dangerous balconies.
Seriously,
Yeah.
where's
discuss.
OSHA? Where is OSHA? What is happening? It was
Because
driving me crazy.
they're gonna be lazy and leaning too much on them. So
Ah,
Look, the most egregious one was
it's all about
obviously
laziness.
when Stepan had to melt the ring and he was suicidal, yet they let
Yeah.
him 10 feet away from a 50-foot
no,
drop.
dude, there's literally a cliff right there, bro.
They provided
Yeah.
an option. I don't see the problem.
He could have just put the ring in. He didn't have to put Lan to sleep with whatever that was, drugs.
You didn't have to roofie
let's
Rand.
also- yeah,
right?
let's also just deal with the fact that Maureen's balcony looks like it's made of marble. Have you ever been on marble when it's wet and there's no railing?
have.
Like,
And there's
That's a
no
really good
railing.
point.
Well,
Like-
what you guys don't know
Oh,
is
I
that
didn't
there's
even
actually
think
the
about that.
floor of that balcony has a pitch going downward toward the edge.
Yeah, and she's just gonna be like,
It's not much. It's subtle. It's like 12 degrees, but it's enough.
So
Yeah,
they were gonna do
what
like
you
all
don't
these
know
water
is-
slides on the outside of the tower. Like it was
that
gonna
was
be
the
water
plan.
Yeah.
That was the
Like-
original plan.
It's like they drop one of those rings and it
Did
just
you
starts like
guys-
rolling, and you're just like, "Fuck, it's gone."
Did you guys read the interview with Rafe where he kind of talked about the fact that he was very influenced by in Home Alone 1 when Marv walks back outside
Yeah.
the door and just goes "Whoop!" and drops his
Right. That was the
yeah. So that was
I was
it.
actually
Like,
going to
he-
say
he-
something. So me and Tom have been positing for years that Iceman slides are a thing with the one power, and they can
Fuck off.
easily do it. and Jono was just like, "Fuck you! It's impossible." We're like, "It's a fucking slide made of ice. They could do it."
Very
I was
easily
wearing the Home Alone shirt.
I'm just
all
saying.
day
Just
until
imagine
I-
that on the outside of the White Tower,
Just
swirling
yeah,
all the way
exactly.
down.
Yeah.
oh dear
I can
lord.
see that.
Balcony's
Like-
no longer dangerous. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I don't
Okay.
know. No.
Joe, do you have any of the other clips of in question? From like
Insane.
episode, it seems like episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the very least were like designed to fuck with us because it was always
No, I
just
made
a
one title
character.
card. This is all we got. One title card.
But there's also
There are
in the
multiple
white.
times
I like when I said I ranted about this on my channel. I'm not lying. In the
Okay.
White Tower, like
I'm
though,
really
like,
glad you did.
when you go up, like they go up, all of those
Yeah.
levels. There's no railings on any of them. There's
Why
a
wouldn't
railing on a balcony in Shadar Logoth, but not on the balcony that anybody stands on.
I thought
Like,
there wasn't
I
one.
feel like if you're
only
building
had
an
no,
entire
not-
tower
no.
devoted to magic, that the idea of like needing physical safety is something maybe you could let slide.
I was
just a little
gonna
bit,
say
like,
that, Clint. I was
It's-
just
it
gonna
makes it
say
kind of
that.
cool. We're like,
but
fuck it,
they
we're
can
fucking
still
magic.
die. Like, I mean, are all the
I know,
Aes
but,
Sedai in like in the hall of the tower just constantly when
They can
when
still-
there's an
They
audience?
can still die in the hallway, which is also
I
marble
suppose.
when they slip
they're
on someone's
ready to
teeth.
do an Iceman slide at the drop of a hat.
At the drop of a hat. All right. All right.
Well, right,
Maybe they
let's
didn't
go
care
to
about-
basic history. Chalk Talk, look at this. Basic history, right? When was the Tarvalon, right? White Tower was built 3,000 years ago. So obviously that shit decayed. Shadar Logoth, 2,000 years ago, that shit's still in place. That's why there's still, like some sort of
Actually,
balcony.
wait, that leads to
and,
a question. Wait, hold on.
really.
Did the Ogier build Shadow Logoth? Because they built the tower.
Yeah.
So better
Presumably
construction
they did, they built
methods.
the method. Yeah.
But okay,
That's-
there's a roof that has railings in in Shadar Logoth.
Yeah,
that
Shadar
you
The
can
fact that
see.
we're talking
Well,
about
that's 'cause
railings
it's a
this long
roof.
is amazing.
There's balconies
Because
with
it's
the
a
railings and the
roof.
gates. So no.
It's also
course
a
you put
it's a phobia of
roof
mine, so I
railings.
noticed it. Like from the trailer, I noticed it. I was like, "Where the fuck are the railings?"
I
I
brought
didn't
it
say
up.
fuck.
Heard
because it
about
was
You know
on
what?
the
it
panel.
until 10 minutes ago.
We're really focused on railings, but the funny part is that Tom noticed that like a lot of the shots, like to make it more interesting, they just constantly had people up high, like looking down on people. So that's where the
Yeah.
cliffs comes in. So that's
was
it's just
such
like multiple
Yes.
scenes of people being like,
Yeah.
"What's down there?" And it'd just be like this huge shot down into it.
Yes.
And you're like, "God
Yeah.
It
damn, they're
starts
just
in the
always on
first
cliffs."
episode, the first scene. Like the first scene, Moraine and Lan watch the unnamed male Chandler get gentled or whatever by Leandrin and company, and they're just up above, like just like, huh. And then like next thing you know, like you see it in every episode for the first 4 or 5 episodes. It's almost like it's a fucking joke, and is that a trope? I don't even think that's like tropist. It's just bad to a certain extent. I don't know. I
No.
get on a real big high horse.
I have an opinion on that. I honestly think it was direction choice to create more of a sense of the big world. Right?
Yeah. They're
So
just
to
trying to
that
make
is
it more
why-
interesting.
aspect.
It's
Like
just
psychologically wise, if you're looking off a cliff and you see like this big wide thing, you're going to think, "Oh, this world is great and big and beautiful." And so you start to plant those seeds of like, "Here's this big world," but really, just one shot isn't going to set
Really,
that tone.
You're just high. I get it.
Yeah, but you're just high.
That too.
You're just high up.
It's not how cliff works.
All right. Well, since cliffs and open balconies was not an actual topic, we talked about that for way too long.
Was that
Let's
the
talk
character
about one
you
of
wanted to
the
discuss?
let's I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Perrin or Matt? Let's dive in.
Matt.
Ooh,
That was fast.
Yeah, let's
We
talk about
got
Matt.
one Matt. Christy.
let's do Matt. Matt's
Either?
fine. I don't care.
All right.
That's fine.
Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
Matt,
Matt
bloody
Bloody
Cotton.
Cotton. Yeah. All right.
Well, Christy, go. Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Oh,
The whole point is
um,
analyze his trajectory, what you thought, what you didn't like, and then we'll probably talk over you a lot.
You know, I might be in the percentage of people that I actually do like the change that they made, where they went in a direction of kind of giving him more of an interesting family dynamic backstory. I think it does kind of bring a little more depth and a sense for a general audience to really grasp onto understanding his journey versus if he's just like a little trickster prankster kind of guy. So I really appreciated that, and I thought that was kind of a pretty good choice. I really liked that with Matt's path.
Okay.
And I will say
continuing,
this: when I first saw like the first few episodes, I don't even remember whatever day it is or time. I literally like pretty much cried because I was like, God damn, it's kind of devastating because I really, really felt like for me, Barney was the best in terms of bringing a character to screen. He just killed it. He killed it for me.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I thought he
good?
did a really good job.
Yeah. That's me. That's Matt. Or unless you want me to talk about more.
Yes,
Jenny, what do
more.
you think about Matt?
8 seconds more.
Shut the fuck
That's
up,
enough.
John.
Perfect. That's it. Your turn.
Yeah, I'm conflicted with Matt because I'm a little saddened by the fact that he is not like Matt is a character that when you've read all the books and then you go back and read the first books, you can see that awesome Matt from the end of the books in books 1 and 2 and 3.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
when you first read books 1 and 2 and 3, you don't see that. Like he's a dick.
Right.
And I had a friend of mine who's just starting the books now. One of the first things she said to me is, "Oh, Matt is so much better in the show. So much better." So I'm conflicted because I'm saddened that he's not the Matt that I know, but I think it's an incredibly smart choice for the show. And I think that he will grow into the Matt that I know. So I'm okay with it because I think it had to be done. Because if he was Matt from the books and the show, people hate, like, not everybody, but people don't like. He's a
Most
dick
people don't
in
like
book
Matt
2.
until book 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want a main character of the show who you're supposed to root for that most people don't like.
I'm with
That most
Christy. I
people
really
don't
liked his backstory. I really liked a lot of where they were going with him. But unfortunately, the news came out that Barney wasn't going to be playing him in season 2. So I felt a really difficult time as like a viewer, like attaching myself to that character because I was just like, but you're not going to be there. Like, so like I was objective in a weird way because I was already detached from him. So like
that's exactly how I
so
felt.
helped,
Detached
sort
is
of.
the exact right word for me. I was completely
But
detached.
but it was but I overall I thought his arc was good. I do want to ask you guys, and specifically I'll start with Clint though, but like what did you feel about like the other evil that was in him that is now like, because like they made it seem like it was not the dagger and there was something else that the dagger was feeding off of, and that's
Not
why
the
we
dagger.
lived for so long with the dagger. And like let's talk about that, because that's like that's the biggest like Matt change there is. I think his backstory with his parents and stuff, like I kind of enjoyed the change, but like just because it, as Chrissy was saying, kind of fleshed out the character. But Clint, what are your thoughts on evil dagger / Matt might be evil already?
Right. Well, I've kind of already. I've been thinking that. I don't know that I felt like there was any sort of extra evil in him, other than the fact that he, had this new kind of cool backstory that I totally agree with you guys. I think gave a lot better version of early story Matt than the books did, because he was a dick at the beginning. But what I took it as was that, if I recall correctly from the books, the Moraine kind of shielded him from the dagger instead of fully releasing him from it, and then he had to be healed from the dagger later. And so I'm just running under the impression that he's not healed from the dagger, and the other evil that's in him is still that, and that I'm thinking that's why they're turning him back toward Tar-Valon.
Okay, yeah, I kind of think so too.
So, wait, to go after the knife though doesn't?
I don't actually think that I don't think he's going there for that reason. I think that they are moving him there for that reason, because I think he'll need to be healed. And I think that they haven't really established his, like, I don't want these Aes Sedai getting their bloody fingers in me, kind of thing. Watch out, Jono. I know. But he's like, he doesn't have that sense of them yet. And that's like such a defining thing about Matt. They kind of have to steer him back toward the White Tower so he can sort of grow that part of his personality. And I'm just running under the presumption that they're going to heal him from the dagger, and then somehow that interaction is going to make him start acting that way. Like, I don't want to deal with these people anymore.
I mean, they may end up even establishing that he still needs to have the dagger to have that complete healing, and so that takes us back out of the White Tower again, because
I like that thought.
Well, and I think that's what's going on
thinking
next.
of how do we get our characters moving, and that is the plant or the seed that they planted to, like, we're going to move with this.
I will also just want to. Oh, go ahead, Clint.
Books 2 and 3 are essentially those sort of chases, right? Like two chases across the continent. And I think that that's what they're going to meld together in the next season, is like, so, I mean, Moraine, sorry to jump off topic, Moraine being like kind of maybe feels like she needs Rand to take the shield off of her, trying to find Rand, like chasing after him. And then Matt also trying to chase and find the dagger so he can get healed. You get all these chases. There's like infinite number of ways that you can compress them and make them sort of like more concise, which they're going to have to be.
Sure.
Now I have two thoughts. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Jono's been holding back for a minute.
Yeah, Jono, what do you got? What's going on?
Oh, it's just a bunch of sex jokes. Don't worry about me.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Good.
Let's hear Jenny's.
Thank God. Let's hear Jenny's thoughts.
The first.
That's the best version of Jono's bad jokes that I've heard.
Yeah. The first thought. I don't.
I've been in the background.
Yeah. The one that I didn't hear.
Yeah. That's
I would say I don't know that they're saying. I wouldn't say that Matt has evil in him. He has darkness in him, which I think is
that's what Moraine said. I didn't say. I misspoke.
Yeah,
you're right.
And dark and evil are not the same, in my opinion.
She did say like the darkness in him was like
feeding off of.
It basically helped him with the dagger live longer, which means I don't know. To me, that means like it's of the same caliber.
They said that the darkness was feeding off of him, and he was feeding off of the dagger as well. Like
which is kind of like I don't know what that means. I don't know where they're going with that. Like, what does that even mean?
I think you should have the opposite, though, right? Like clearly he had the dagger for at least 1 month later, by definition, which is again that's frustratingly stupid storytelling. But I feel like the whole point was like he had to have been a good person, like at his core, to have fought this off for so long.
She said that he was strong enough to have fought it, but he still had darkness in him. Like those two things can exist. They don't have to contradict.
Well, and that's kind of almost the purpose, right? Is the idea that Shadar Logoth versus what we actually see from He Who Shall Not Be Named, Balzamort, kind of like
Balzamort.
Like, those are two different darknesses, right? Like that's
right.
But
right.
I mean,
but go on.
Balaz the Gamma-Man. That's what I call it.
Is there an implication that, like, you know, especially with this new backstory, that maybe it's like he is a good person. He's already sort of equipped to sort of be a good person in the face of so much like bad
I would say that would be that's where I would go with it.
Like he's already tuned to that. He already knows how to be a good person despite all the crap around him, and it's kind of helped him be better at dealing with more crap coming from this dagger.
Well, see, then here we go. So this is like a question to pose from a writing aspect, because I'm coming from a writing perspective, is that, you know, we've already seen in the audience view, Moiraine separate him from the dagger. And the audience only associates the darkness with the dagger. But now that he doesn't have it,
well, the
where have we set up that he's going to have a battle between darkness and not? Because previous to him picking up that dagger, it was just Matt going along for the ride with his friends, making sure that he could take care of his family.
I guess it's already in his soul, is what they're saying.
But we didn't see that. Like we didn't see that.
Yeah,
they tried to
I
tell
have
you.
a lot of issues with those little things.
I mean,
Christy. Like they didn't illustrate this point enough. They didn't illustrate that point enough. They, you know, that kind of like many.
It lends to character development.
Every episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the point of that Moiraine comment, right? Like, I mean, if it feels like they just tried to do it with just that comment, like, just so you know.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, didn't they do it in the first episode where he has no problem stealing from his friends and neighbors, but also takes care of his sisters? Like,
it's a that's a conflicted thing, and I do think that in the final episode that was supposed to be Fane's confrontation with him of like, I know you're a thief.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like, that
exactly.
was, you know,
clearly.
So again, Matt has this caveat of like, well, Barney's leaving, and they clearly wrote around him at the end of the season, and like there was difficulties there. So that's why I'm kind of going like, well, Matt as a character, I'm willing to kind of go, all right, give me season 2, then I'll start judging that guy as a character.
I feel like they made a character choice because they lost the actor, and then in the last 2 episodes, they kept like doubling and tripling down on something that people weren't happy with. I feel like they could have, like, he didn't come, wave it away, and like, let's maybe just not reference him until we get to next season or something. Instead of constantly being like, I don't know, he might be evil. I don't know, he might be a dark friend.
Yeah, they could have just they could have just left it to get. Yeah, that's kind of. I agree with Tom. Like they could have just let him. That's it. Like he didn't go through the gateway or into the ways, and like that's.
We're worried about him. We don't know where he is.
Talked about that in my screenwriting podcast. Yeah, we said that like for his character, it should have been almost like a cliffhanger to what happens to him.
Yeah,
so that his friends are now worried. Yeah, we just don't know. So
also, it leaves them as writers the open door to do whatever they want with him in season 2. It's just like, why would you write yourself into this weird corner where he's glaring at the White Tower, all like I'm a like zombie Matt or whatever?
Yeah,
right.
But I think they ran some calculation thinking that they needed to tell the audience at least physically where he was.
I don't know if you guys know this. There's another interview with Rafe, also known as Not Real, wherein it ends up what was happening was they read just the kind of just notes in the margin about like how pissed off they were about the Barney situation. Like, well, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like put that in the middle of the story, and that's why episodes 7 and 8 just seem so cumbersome and shit when it comes to him. But other than that, I think everything's good with Matt.
All right, well let's shift on.
I got
to
one more thing.
the next...
One more thing with Matt.
God damn it, Clint! Are you John-Oing me right now?
I'm gonna do it.
All right, do it.
It's very quick.
Let's go back. Let's talk about Matt.
I think that the little quips that he made, like, oh, that's a new wrinkle, isn't it? Stuff like that. I loved it, and I hope that I hope that, you know, I know new character and everything, but it is in the writing. I hope that they include growing amounts of that as the series goes. I think if they do,
you need to have the comedic element no matter what, and he is that.
That's
and
simple.
There
like
was too little
that's
of
the
it.
most he's when they went into Shatter Logoth, and he's like, "That's the most you've spoken to us like ever." Or something. Like when he was talking to Lan, he's like, "That was weird," you know, kind of like that was funny. Like he had a lot of good little.
He was
one-liners.
I hope to see more in the future. All right, next
of
character.
the 3 main characters, and I get to override people because I'm a drunk dick. Of the three main characters, I think that he was honestly my favorite just as an individual person. And what's funny is I say of the three main characters, and then I watch the TV show and I said, is he? Oh, no, he's not. That's more.
I was literally just about to say he's not even one of the three main characters in the book.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, even in the books, he's not one of the main characters for me.
No, right.
But I think that he was really fucking delightful in his own weird ways, and to me, and again, maybe it might be because I already know his story is dust in the wind. Thanks, Kansas. But like it's just, I thought he stole every goddamn scene he was in. Like even when he was up against like some very, very like I love Rosamund Pike. I still think that like Barney Harris just took so many of these scenes on his own, and I was just, it became even more frustrating, and I don't know how, why, what the fuck happened to him. I just hope he's healthy, whatever the hell. But it got worse and worse almost, that just watching him, and then the ending is just such a fucking just shit show. Is like, well, that's him not walking into this place.
Yeah.
And then
I hope the new guy crushes it as much as Barney did.
Yeah.
Because he really did do a good job.
Yeah. I watched it.
It's a shame he's not coming back.
I watched it with I watched it with my other half, who is a non-book reader, and even he said this guy dominates the scenes when he's in them, and that says something. That speaks something to not only the actor, but just even the development of his character and how he took it where he went with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But anyway, next, let's go back to the Cliffs. No, Boney Bob.
Oh,
no.
Perrin.
Let's talk about Perrin, guys.
Oh, Perrin.
Yeah, I have new thoughts about Perrin after I watched the what do you call it, like the watch party that Brandon Sanderson did with Matt Hatch for the final episode, and his story I think got the most of the shaft. Like it's the like they slow burned him so much that people still think he's a werewolf. Like there are new readers who still are like, so can he turn into a wolf?
The wolf guy.
Because
they don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it at all. Yeah. And I think they did it on purpose.
I think that's an accurate, like a complete non-viewer. That's an accurate.
Yeah.
Jonah, are you laughing at the word shaft? Is that what you're laughing at? The word shaft? Is that
I wish I were that immature. No, my favorite, like we made a quasi joke that if the worst part is we couldn't say no to. Is it seemed like they wanted to make it seem like that Perrin got a slight, bite on his calf or attack on his calf, and it seemed like
like they were literally making him like he's got something, he's bleeding, he's hiding it, and then and then he started talking to them. I'm like, they're literally making him like a werewolf. Oh, yeah,
fucking off!
Like a wolf trollic bit him.
Yeah, like it's so explicit in the books, and yet non-readers who are watching the show literally still have no idea. And after watching that watch party, the way Brandon described it, or way he just said it, is they traumatized him in the first episode, so that literally for the whole season he can't do anything. Like if he had like in episode 4 gone and killed people, it would have been like, oh, this guy accidentally killed his wife like 3 weeks ago, and now he's perfectly fine. Like. They did that on purpose to sideline him because they couldn't front load him being a wolf brother, because then it would be obvious he's not the dragon. Well, and so that was Brandon's theory on it.
Okay,
I can see. I can see it. I do like. I did a whole tier list of changes, and Perrin's changes ended up at the bottom of my list. Because I feel like it's
speaking of Jenny's tier list, check out her YouTube channel. It's amazing.
Oh
yeah,
yes, I'm very good at self-promotion. Anyway,
I did a tier list and don't watch that.
At least you have something to promote. I don't.
But yeah, I do think his character got
Clint's
shafted
on Twitter
in that way. Yes, but. I think that was the reason. I think the reason was they felt like they couldn't tell people who he was, because then it would hide the big mystery of the season.
Well, here's the thing. Let's address the elephant. Let's address it.
Yeah.
Jono, hold on.
It's been kind of in the ethers of here's the rumor mill that Amazon was very, very afraid to go down the route with the wolves anyway because of Game of Thrones, and they didn't want to see knockoff, right?
So dumb.
So there was a number of suggestions on either just cutting that arc altogether, or I know this has been made public now, but they were going to make him like a bear brother, or like change the animal right? Because they didn't want it.
I heard something about that. It would have been horrible.
So, you know, to
the mere
combat
fact that
that,
Rafe
like,
Judkins had to, presumably he had to fight for that is like ridiculous. Like it's so ridiculous.
Plus the fact,
so
like,
dumb.
if he had been a bear, like if it's wolves, you can hire dogs that look like wolves. What are you gonna do if it's a bear?
I know. You guys, I'm like going to say something that I probably shouldn't say, but it's okay that I say it because it's out anyway. But I remember when Sarah called me when that conversation happened, and she was screaming, and she was like, "Jesus Christ, Christy, they want to make Perrin a bear brother," and I'm like, "The leather guys?" Like I didn't understand what she was talking about. And then she's like, "No, cutting the wolves and making a bear."
Brother Bear is a Disney movie.
The leather guys, I'd be okay with, quite frankly. That would work.
But and then finally that came out, so I'm like, "Oh, good, I don't have to hold that secret anymore," because it was just so funny.
Wow.
So real quick,
man. That's ridiculous, by the way. John,
Christy has a friend. That's it. Oh, do you want to put more information? I just love the fact that you and Sarah just, I would probably pay, I don't know, 30, 40, even $50 to see that text message thread between the two. I have that.
She actually called me on that one.
Just Sarah being like, "Holy shit!"
That's oddly specific, $30 or $40.
Yeah,
I said
$37.
Yeah, she actually called me.
$37.
And then to put a disclaimer out there, like, you know, obviously, I want to say that I respect Sarah's job very much. There was not very many things that she could tell me. In fact, there was times that I didn't hear from her for stretches of time. I likened it to like her being in witness protection. So I just want to say that and throw that out there so that we do know she wasn't really just telling me all the things, but it was
Christy, stop covering up for Sarah.
No,
Christy
knows all the things. She's just not telling us any of the things.
I actually don't. I don't. But it was one moment where she felt like there's only one person in the world that I can talk to right now about something along these lines. And so
it is tWoTcast.
You know, Anyway,
it was
Christy, to your point. I looked through my texts, and Bear Brothers. I have at least a dozen options as far as
the person that we're talking about.
Yes,
he'd make a really good bear. He would make such a good bear.
What did you guys think about Perrin and Egwene?
He would make a good bear.
Oh, that drove me crazy.
Oh, come. Yeah, I can't.
All right.
This is where it's tough for me. I just, there's choice. You make choices when you're kind of in that writing situation and you're kind of going down a path with these characters. And I don't really feel like it moved the story forward. There was really no reason to have it,
And when they like highlighted it, it actually it sullied. I'm trying to think of a word that wasn't like it ruined scenes earlier on in the season where I was like, oh, I really liked them being like friends together, and like I love this platonic friend. Like I really liked watching them together, and now when I watch it, I'm like, he has a crush on her. Like, it's like, and not that I think they're in love or he was in love with her, but it just kind of doesn't seem it's not as wholesome as it was.
You almost got that impression in the first episode, and you just
it's there.
Knew something was going on, and then the next thing that bothers me about that relationship is I don't think they're just going to drop it, so we're going to get more of this.
Right.
Okay.
I just went full denial. I just pretended it never happened, like all the way up until it came to a head, and then I was just like, and then like immediately I was like, oh, they all just had a really big misunderstanding, and that's like because they were really.
Well, I mean, how many shows do you watch where they do that? They'll like test the waters with something, and then they'll be like, let's drop that storyline.
Just drop it.
And they move on. I mean, hopefully, that's possible.
This is
this is the Community Gas episode season, right? Like they just their first season was just under some like heavy gas. So that didn't happen, right?
This is
right.
You mean when Dan Harmon was
Friends? This is the season of Friends where Rachel dated Joey for some goddamn reason. We're just like,
oh God, that's perfection.
That's a good way to describe it. A friend of mine actually described it as it felt like a plot line that hadn't been fully removed. Like it doesn't. It was something they thought of, and then they put it in, and then they thought, oh, it doesn't work, but then they forgot to remove it because it doesn't do anything.
And it would have taken one moment for Perrin to say, dude, we all grew up together. She's like my sister, right?
Yeah.
And then done. It's dropped. And you're done with it.
But they got to
interestingly. I tried to fuck my sister,
They got to episode 8 really never explained why Parent's wife was so mad at him in the first episode, and they were like, "Fuck, we blew it. Now we have to make."
We gotta go in. We gotta go in deep.
Wait, is that okay? Oh, so early on, when people were speculating that his wife was a dark friend, and then Rafe was making comments like, "Oh, but that's a place maybe you should look at." He made these like oblique kind of comments, like, that's something you should be looking at. Is that what he was referring to?
I think so.
I don't. I'd rather she were a dark friend than like what the fuck they did here. Like, I think that like having her as a dark, like obviously there's like these giant theories about like I don't know what the fuck fridging is, but I heard it like 8 different spots, and honestly, Japan for other reasons. But like
I can explain that to you based on this wall of comic books behind me, Jono. I can tell you what fridging is.
Yes. I would love to hear you guys mansplain it, please.
Please.
If we explain it to Jono, we know it.
Mansplaining. It's that I read it originally.
I know. I'm joking. I just was like,
I read that comic book when it came out.
Is it possible to mansplain?
That's kind of a point. Yeah.
I'm totally.
It's like literally really watching Fonzie jump the shark. Like I was there. Like I knew. I know what fridging is.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you.
Oh,
because we get good shape.
I've honestly not looked several times.
Look in your fridge and find out.
Yeah, look at your fridge.
If there's a woman in your fridge, you understand it.
You fridged her. Fridging.
I don't feel like I do. I feel like there's a lot of emotional trauma for me to. It's funny. It's funny.
Now you get it.
All right.
Tom, what are your parent thoughts?
I don't know. I think I've been commenting on what everybody has been saying. Like nothing overall. I agreed with what Jenny was saying while I was outside. I was keeping up with it.
Wow. You were just going like,
so
I agree, Jenny.
I like if I go out to smoke, I like to know where we're at when I come back and not repeat what everybody's already said. Yeah. I mean, it's a small thing, but like it drove me absolutely crazy when he started talking to wolves and then his eyes turned yellow and then they left and they were normal again. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to take this.
That's so funny because that little detail bothers me too.
If it's not a permanent,
I know it's stupid. I know it's
stupid. I don't understand why you get bothered by these details.
I think that's a smart change. That his eyes are not always yellow.
It probably is, and it makes sense.
The reason I think it's a smart change is because they're probably not going to do the whole voiceover. I hope to God they're not going to have like wolf voices in the back of his head with echo or something. So
we are very concerned of what he's going to do today.
He's also not going to have.
Honestly,
yellow
I
eyes
thought it would be
permanently
kind of. Sorry, Clint. Go ahead.
He's not going to have yellow eyes permanently ever.
Well, that's like, what I was
probably
thinking
not.
Is like,
yeah, it'd be
when his eyes are yellow, it's going to be a clue for us to realize that he's talking to the wolves. Yeah. Because otherwise, the only ways to do it are to do like a voiceover or like a montage of a bunch of images. I don't know
if I would mind like flashes of B-roll, like of images.
What if he does
flashes of images?
I think that would be kind of cool.
What if he does this?
Yeah.
But it's still a clue for us to know what those images are.
I want him to be hearing voices that sound like Yogi Bear.
What if it's literally his eyes turn golden and he just looks off into space for 5 minutes and then like everyone else is like parent, and he's like, huh?
Maybe those white clothes don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
Jono, what were you going to say? You had your hand raised like a child.
I was going to say a couple things. Like one, I'm a little disappointed by the fact that Tom seems clearly way more sober than I'd prefer. Either that or he's way more shit-faced than I expect.
I thought you were talking about Tom from the show, and I was like, okay.
What? Someone in chat said that too. They're like, you're not drunk enough.
I'm talking about my little Tommy Bear. My Tommy Bear.
I'm also just trying to let other people talk.
I don't fucking care about that. This show was made for us to get drunk and talk about shit, and we are very happy that anyone is dumb enough to listen. But the original point was us to get drunk and hang out. Of course. But anyway, but back to the actual point here about the character. The idea that he was just kind of made to literally just kind of hang out for a season. That's fucking dumb. Like you not put the guy just back to see like episode 8. Like episode 8, he just walks around with his dick in his hand, and just goes, "Oh no, oh no,"
I missed that.
And then talks to me for 7 seconds. That's bad writing.
I was
You
confused.
can pick a character later on.
I think
That's
you will
just
vastly
bad
overestimate or over-remember how much he apparently did in the first book. I really do. Like,
he's the only
he
other.
didn't cut that much. He was kind of a
he
non-entity
learned about
person.
his wolfness. That's pretty much what he did. He learned about his wolfiness. Yeah.
But I mean, he.
But it's also an
No,
interesting character.
he didn't even really learn about it. He discovered that it had existed at all. Like, that's about as far as he got.
Sure. But that was better than what the fuck happens here. He was an interesting character, and he was a viewpoint character to kind of like, instead the viewpoint character is literally the camera for all the shit that happens when he and Egwene meet Elias, when they meet the traveling people, when like things happen. Like he is just a quick kind of, he's a spectator. Put it in your back pocket. This guy's important. As opposed in this character, like in this instance, put it in your back pocket. He next scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got
he's
you.
a werewolf.
Clint, you have to remember that, like, even though we know the books, again, a general new viewing audience doesn't know that Perrin wasn't that prevalent in the first book, right?
Yeah.
So,
so they're seeing somebody that's potentially the Dragon Reborn that's like getting
Yeah,
sidelined
right. If
constantly,
you're
and they're
setting
going
up-
like, "What is all of this?" Is
if you're
werewolf?
setting up he's Ta'Veren and you're setting up that he's one of the 5 that could be the dragon, then his arc and his story better equal to everybody else in terms of getting to that payoff at the end.
Yeah, and I don't think they quite got there. And I agree.
Well, they did give him the awkward conversation with Pat and Fane at the end that wasn't supposed to be there. So you got that.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
What?
Jenny?
Well, guys, let's hold on.
I have a
Let's let
theory that
Jenny-
he was supposed to go with Lan. That he was supposed to go with Lan in that last episode.
Oh, and they stuck him there because of Matt.
Instead of the stupid tell thing that the whole time I was watching, I was like, what's
I like
Marie's
that
tell?
idea.
What's Marie's
Yeah.
tell?
Oh God!
I think that was
Don't get us started on that.
That
Yeah.
wouldn't kill.
I
Unless
think
you
that's
tell
what it
me.
was supposed to be.
Unless you tell me.
Listen, this is what we're gonna do.
Never mind.
Yeah, Joe,
John,
you
shut
have,
the fuck up. Shut your fuck up.
Joe,
This is
you
what
have
we're
the
gonna do. We're gonna
ratings.
introduce Rand, and we're gonna let Jenny talk because she has to go in like 5 minutes. So we're gonna talk about Rand.
Let's do her series
sure.
overview ratings before she has to go.
Oh,
okay.
Which
Let's
one
break-
should I do?
Let's do season overview rating.
Okay.
put
That's
her-
more interesting because Rand is always boring to me anyway. I'd be like, he was fine. Anyway, okay, series overview ratings.
Let's bring up that.
He's a dragon, but no, he's fine. He's there. Whatever.
We need the graphics.
I literally will
on a
like
scale of Billy Zane 1 to 10, Jenny, what do you think about
season
the
1?
season?
8.
Yeah.
Oh, that's high.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
That is
Now, I will grant you, my rating is entirely how much did I enjoy the experience of watching it. So that's what it is. I'm not trying to I'm not reviewing the writing or anything. I watched each episode at least 5 times. Like,
oh wow.
I was obsessed. I'm literally still coming down from my level of obsession with the show while it was on, and thoroughly enjoyed. Like even the final episode, which I think I gave like a 5.5. Like it was really pretty low.
Yeah.
There are things in it that I really like. I enjoyed watching it more than anything else that was on TV at the time. I would try and watch. I would try and watch other shows and be like, "This is garbage. I couldn't even watch Spider-Man while it was like the new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All Wheel of Time was
I
out.
love
because,
that.
You're like, fuck new Spider-Man. I got Wheel of Time episode 8.
I love that. Again, like the pure fandom in me, it like has the same feeling that realistically the show is a 10 out of 10. The pure fandom in me also says realistically this show is like a 3 out of 10. But just kind of like the person who's a rational, he's dead. Like that's why I kind of gave it the 5.5 or 6, just because I'm delighted it exists. There could be so many better things. But let's talk about Rand. What do you have to say, Jenny? Tell me about Rand, your least favorite.
All right, we're moving on to
he's not my
Rand
least favorite
Althor.
character.
He's such a muffin, though. He's so muffiny.
Yeah, he's not my least favorite character. I just, he's fine. I actually liked the Eye of the World in the show better than the books. I thought it was cooler.
I think you should go.
It made more sense.
Interesting.
Not cooler, but it made more sense.
Expand on that.
Yeah, it's confusing in the books to me. Like what happens at the Eye of the World is still like I can do
Very
it, I can
much
piece
so.
it together, but it's confusing.
Yeah.
Plus, I also think that having two battles in the sky with the same dude that are reflected in the battles at the end of on the ground at the end of season 1 and season 2, like there's battle in the sky at Tarwin's Gap, there's battle in the sky at Falma. You can't do that 2 seasons in a row. So I think changing it to this for a first season, you can build up to something more exciting later that isn't going to feel like copying the first season. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Rand has never been my character, so somebody else talk about Rand.
And that's a fair response.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think like as an actor, I think he did really well. I think he like kind of
the actor was great. The actor was great.
Yeah.
He's also
and then
very muffiny.
Where was he doing the right things? Maybe, but maybe not. But they were kind of shoving him to the side to highlight the other 4 theoretically to like add to the mystery. But when they did reveal him, they showed where he was doing things, and I thought that was kind of cool. I was telling Tom and Jono when we reviewed episode 7, like that actually surprised me when Egwene was like, I didn't mean to channel. Like that actually tricked me. Like when he was like, that was me. Fuck you. You know, I was like, oh shit, that was Rand. You know, like that actually like did surprise me. I was like, I thought Egwene fucked up. You know, like kind of thing. Like or like I accidentally channeled. Let's run. But it's just when it comes down to like episode 8 that's when it really like the reveal in episode 7 was awesome. But then the episode 8 like carry through for him as a character was so lackluster.
Well, I feel like
to reveal the Dragon
Reborn
Reborn in episode 7 and then to like show him do basically nothing in episode 8 was like, come the fuck on. Or like it just didn't have the weight that it should have had, I think.
Yeah. Jenny, last character for you, because I know you got to go. What's your thought on our character, the Sangreal?
The Sangreal.
I think he's just talking about Moiraine's Sangreal.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about, but I don't know. I didn't really think about it that much. It's like I have questions. Why does she have a male Sangreal, or is it both? Like I have questions.
Or is it both?
Would be weird.
Is there even a male and female half of the true source? Because
there is, according to the X-rays. There definitely is.
Those don't count.
It became the most like fascinatingly dumb. Thank you.
Yes, Frustrator. That's exactly how I feel.
Rand was nice.
I think that's like a damning thing. Like, and I know you got to go, so like I will yell at other people while I'm drunk on the show. But
there you go.
To me, like that Sangreal was almost like the kind of like it's almost like it was the Eye of the World for me as far as like the constraints and problems of the show. Is that her response was, look at this. You ever heard of the joke Deus Ex Machina? Here it is. Here you go.
Okay.
Fuck me.
I was kind of into it because I've always thought that the Eye of the World was a trap in the books, and so I don't know if that's that's general theories because I still feel like I'm relatively new to the online fandom, but when I read the books, like got to the end, I'm like, the Eye of the World was a trap. Ishamael set this up as a trap because he couldn't find it and whatever. And then in the show, it's a trap. Like to me, it was the same. It was just more easy to understand. Okay. Like that was my thought.
I think the part about the Eye of the World didn't really bother me so much, Jenny. I think it was the fact that he wasn't like simultaneously helping in Tarwin's Gap. I know it does seem weird to have him like make a gateway or whatever the fuck is described in the books because it is fucking very loose. And then like he's suddenly there and he helps them fight the Trollocs and then he's suddenly back fighting like Forsaken, and it is super confusing. But I don't think they did a good job of giving the weight to like what he was doing at all, like kind of thing. Like it was very anticlimactic. It was like, I'm the Dragon Reborn, and then it was like, I did a thing, I channeled, a guy smiled as he disappeared and faded away, and then I'm supposed to go like, I did it, I killed the Dark One, woo! And you're like,
right, okay, I can see
like,
that.
They set him up.
I never
they set him up to have done is that he made the choice to not go with the Dark One's promise, and he said, Egwene, he gave respect to that's not what Egwene wants, and that was, I think, supposed to be. That seems to me what they aimed to make the big moment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I did like that.
It was a little
It just didn't have like the end of a season.
I say
full,
that is
you
a
know?
good point. I have to like part of it is my book knowledge of just the Eye of the World was a trap, and so I was not expecting the Eye of the World to be like a woo, we won, because I never thought the Eye of the World was a victory. Like
yeah.
So
But
that's a different way of different. Yeah, I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah. Well, and
all
I
right,
think
well, hold on, Jono. Everyone wants to talk, and we all have a lot of thoughts, but Jenny needs to go, so let's all say goodbye to Jenny.
But I'm
all right,
drunk.
Jenny needs to go.
Great talking with you, Jenny.
Bye.
Thanks for being on. Let's be nerdy. We love you.
Thanks. Love you guys.
Next
too.
time you come on.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
She's gone, guys. Woo!
Yeah. All right.
Let's yell more. Let's yell more over each other. Christy, your thoughts on Rand? His whole trajectory, starting at the first moment you see him.
I'm very I'm gonna be God dang.
Everything from the second you saw him.
I'm kind of disappointed. I really am. You know, at the end of the day, I know that like the book fans, like Rand is not our preferred or our favorite, right? But he, again, to a general viewing audience who hasn't read the books, if we're trying to set up this foundation of like he is the Dragon Reborn, there should just been more for him to really build on and build into that character arc. And I'm bummed that even just like an open road, like that first scene with him and Tam, I was pretty bummed about that because I feel like that's a very significant scene in the book that really
I was pretty bummed about it too. Yeah,
Rand is our central character, regardless of who else comes in and out. I know that they were trying to do this whole like, oh, maybe it could be Egwene and maybe it could be this person and that person, but that's a very powerful scene to really show that something's coming, and this young kid isn't ready for it.
Yeah,
and so you know that's kind of that's my beginning thought, and then as we get towards the end and obviously into episode 8, again, kind of really a little bummed because not only have we had this reveal that he is the dragon and he's the Dragon Reborn, right? He only makes the choice because he feels like, well, that's not what Egwene would have wanted. So he doesn't even choose the light over the dark. He chooses Egwene. And how can we build a strong character who's literally supposed to be channeler and save the world?
I agree and I disagree with you. I think he was kind of not choosing Egwene, but I think he was just saying that version of Egwene that you're presenting me is a lie. And that's why it's him choosing light versus dark. It's not about
why did it have to be Egwene?
I choose Egwene, not the light or the dark. I think it's just him going like, well, you're full of lies. This is bullshit because I know that's not her. That's kind of what I took away.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But at the end of the day, again, we kind of know that. But you know, watching it with people who have never necessarily seen it, they're like, "What? You just did that because it's like the girl? Like what?" It was very anticlimactic. You're right. I don't feel like it was earned. I don't feel like it was big enough for him.
It definitely
in
wasn't
that last
big
episode.
It was small to me.
That was my problem with it.
And then I don't know what it's like to approach it from having not read the books, but it just seems like fighting off the devil in a dream to end like an 8-episode season is just like, even if we're not going to do the battle in the sky, we see him do this, 5-6 times over the course of the first book, and instead now it's the finale somehow. It just seemed anticlimactic.
Sure.
What if there had been some like, so I keep going back to him like helping them in Tarwin's Gap, and I know Egwene and Nynaeve were doing something in Tarwin's Gap, but we all kind of found that like, what the fuck's going on? Like, why is this happening? Wouldn't it have been like, what if they had just added in that part where like he was doing something to the Dark One, but it was also somehow simultaneously happening in Tarwin's Gap? Like, there doesn't have to be a fight in the sky. There's no Falm thing happening. If he was just doing this and holding the thing forward.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, and if he was just doing that to the Dark One, but simultaneously he was somehow there, and it's not explained for a viewer, but he's also just blasting the shit out of the Trollocs at the same time he's killing the Dark One. Even that would have been like, okay, well, he did more than what he even thought he was doing.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like, he didn't even realize he was in 2 places at once or somehow or whatever. Like, that would have been fucking cool. Like, just something like more than just like,
right.
Also would have been a little more weight to like Egwene being like reviving Nynaeve from the dead, basically, whatever the fuck that was. But like, it would have given more weight to like that happened. Oh my god, the Trollocs are still coming, and then like Rand's there like blasting them back or something. Just a little bit more of like weight to like what he was doing at the end, I guess.
Fuck you, Joe. I love that piece of writing, honestly, of like the idea that like, and again, it's not writing because I didn't write it. But like, you know, Egwene's there dying. See, it's a nice little snowball here, and like Egwene's there having just rescued Nynaeve, and then like Rand having just finished off. I said nothing wrong. Snowballing means not what you think it is.
No,
it's
snowballing's fine.
But like, and all of a sudden, like Rand sees that through his mind's third eye, and helps out there in Tarwin's Gap, like what literally happens in the book. Spoilers. And like, just because of his love, like what the fuck happened? Like, how did he beat the Balzamon? Who, by the way, if you pause, says, "Oh, it's Ishmael."
Ishmael.
By the way, does anybody that hasn't read the books know that guy wasn't the Dark One?
Did anyone really think that was the Dark One? The Dark One showed up in like after prom clothes, like or whatever the fuck, just kind of like.
Seriously though, yeah. I mean, again, like I'm doing a screenwriting podcast, and my mentor, who's never read the books, we're kind of doing a dual. Like I've read them, he hasn't read them, but we're analyzing from story structure. And he's at the end of episode 7, and he goes, "I still don't know who the antagonist is. I still don't know who this Dark One is." And
right.
And by then they're also throwing in the Forsaken, but not. Like
but not.
Exactly. Them. You don't know who the bad guy is ever. In this.
So Alan Animus here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Has a kind of interesting note. Like no one knows how he didn't blow up Miles the Blight. In fact, he's very focused with the Sangreal, and that's another thing that I've thought about on and off of like, is that worthy of like, is that a positive?
So that is. Well, here's the thing. That is cool. However, they don't explain that is a cool thing that he did. Like they don't like show you. They don't get that point across. They don't go like, hey, by the way, there's a chance that when you channel everything into this thing, you could fucking destroy half the planet.
Okay.
Like they just go, channel everything into this. You're gonna win. That's why it's not a big deal.
I took the show at face value, so when you just put that up, I thought I'd missed something. So that's not anything they discuss on the show.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
But like the whole point here is right. Like what? How excited were we with it? There were 5 or 6 women channeling in Tarwin's Gap. 2 of whom were very fucking strong channelers. Egwene and Nynaeve are 2 of the strongest channelers in the last 1 for 1,000, 2 for 3, like the second for 3,000 years.
We're obviously using Rand as a let's talk about Tarwin's Gap.
Yeah, we're definitely away from the Rand discussion.
But hold on.
Yeah,
no, it's fine.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Bullshit.
Yeah, keep going.
Cast off bullshit. And what they do is they fucking nuke an entire goddamn army. Rand is, at the very least in this show's, universe, at the very least equivalent to Nynaeve. If you give Nynaeve a fucking Sangreal, a woman who on her own can channel however she, like, the dude should be, as was kind of alluded to, a nuclear weapon on a very disturbingly high scale. And what do? All we see is him just kind of beat one guy and, after a wedding close and just walk away. It's just such a fucking, it's such a fucking jerk off walk off, which by the way is not a saying, but I like it a lot. Jerk off. Is that a thing? Yeah, fuck it is.
It is
that
now.
goes back to rules of magic system. You guys, like, we know this. We're fantasy readers. Like at the beginning of the day, and whatever. Like we have to have the rules established for the magic system because that is how you world build and that is how you set the expectations.
It's like sex.
Yeah. Well, yes, exactly. So there's an expectation. I want to receive this thing. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like the whole season really like just kind of fell apart in terms of really building
very flippant
up
with like what he's showing and what he's not showing.
Yeah,
why is he showing this now? He could show it later. Like there's been a lot of that throughout the season. Like why the Oath Rod? Like why the Oath Rod at all?
Or
like you could have just saved it.
You can't defeat Logain's like 50 guys, like these 10 Aes Sedai, but then these 5 trained channelers
are just turning back. Which would have, again, how much better would it have been if Rand had stepped in and been like, I'm the Dragon Reborn, I'm solving your problem.
It made more sense.
Exactly. It definitely
It's
gives
just-
more
Anyway.
weight to the magic system, understanding. Okay,
Clint,
we're
yell
dealing
at
with
us.
something big. You know.
Well, it,
Clint,
it
yell at
seems
us.
they're trying. It seems
I'm
like
actually
they're
thinking about this magic system thing really quick. Like, what?
Well, they're
what
trying
TV
so hard.
show? What TV show has ever had? First of all, had much of a decent explanation of a magic system, and if it did, I'm sure there's some out there. I'm sure you guys can give me some examples. But then they've also got to contend with this incredibly complex magic system. That's not me justifying anything that was done in this show. I've wondered from the get-go, how are they going to and in the books it's kind of through Rand's vision, I think, more than anybody else's. How are they going to establish this magic system? How are they going to show the rules and make it something that everyone can comprehend? Not an easy lift. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like they cast it about this season showing different things about it, and I kind of wonder, I'm like, are they gonna try and leave this for like what Sanderson would call a soft magic system, where like things are kind of just happening and you don't quite get the explanation? I'm not sure that the rest of this series is going to make as much sense to non-viewers or feel very earned in a lot of ways by non-viewers if they don't get some more explanation.
Mhm.
But at the same time,
Absolutely.
I don't know how the hell they're going to do it. That was the whole like Wheel of Time is unadaptable like kind of thing in the first place. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you're already showing, women channelers who can bring people back from the dead, where you've killed your stakes.
Whoops. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you've overcooked.
Oh,
them.
spoilers. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, they're medium rare now, or medium well
Spoilers.
at the very worst. Yeah. You fucked the steak.
All right, so
up.
hold on. Alan's saying, I feel like no one's thinking long term. They just want them to blow their load early. Like,
No, I disagree.
There's a difference between setting up.
I don't want them
the
to
rules
blow
of the
their
magic
load
system and
early.
blowing it early. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
about
I
establishing
feel like it
something
needs
to
to
build
be
Correct.
Yeah, I think it needs to be established more clearly. I don't think they did a bad job if I rewatch the show. Maybe it's there. Like maybe the hints are there. Maybe I missed little things here and there. But it's like, you should, as a television show, it's not. I mean, we're attacking this from the idea that we've read the books like X number of times, and like reread over and over and over again. And it's like, you don't, as a TV show, you need to be able to like watch the show the one time and get it. You know, like kind of like that's what we're
without extras, without
kind of
X-ray,
pinpointing.
none of that.
Right.
Just what you showed me. In
I
50
think
minutes,
there's an inherent laziness in the whole X-ray thing. Let's just almost disregard that. But
yeah,
I think that, put that comment back up. Put his comment back up, Joe.
Put it.
Put it first. I can say that over and over. Whenever you're ready.
I don't know where it went.
And there you go.
I honestly don't know if I would agree with this at all. Like, no one's thinking long term. You just want them to blow their load early. I feel like I want the opposite, right? Like, I don't want them to do that. Like, I don't know what that was in reference to, but I think that kind of creating boundaries early and creating kind of expectations of, hey, it's impossible to do this, right? Like, and I hate
what
using
people can do and what they can't do is incredibly
yes,
informative.
Exactly. Yes.
And so, eventually whatever numbers are used for like the strength of power goes up to like some interesting numbers. And I haven't really finished the encyclopedia. Sorry, Alan. But like, just like where like the kind of like Cad Swain, a Gween, Cad Swain's here as a Gween's here, and Nynaeve's up here. Like,
Sure.
even those like trichotomies, that's not a term, I think are kind of like useful for where we are in the first few books, is like, even knowing that Cad Swain's not there. As far as like just kind of like that's like the strength of the power. That's what we're dealing with, is people who can't even do these things, right? Like if early channeling Nynaeve is this strong, this so much more like just revelatory.
Yeah,
I think that's important to kind of have that there. And instead,
well, I mean,
there's no stakes in training. I'm sorry, go on.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, you have a point, and like for me, even in Eye of the World, Moraine is here, right? So I feel like, okay, this is kind of a really high level. We're established and set up that she is a strong Aes Sedai. It's the first time any of these kids have seen something like that in their life. Then as we start to move forward, you start to understand, oh, wait a minute, hold on. wow, there's these bigger things. And I again feel like there was opportunity to really build that kind of tension and that hierarchy, and it didn't flesh out.
Yeah. Well, I
couldn't agree more.
Thanks. Let's finish this up. Let's take a break in a second. But I think that there's also a point that was never really touched upon, not enough in the books, but especially not here, of power versus dexterity, right? Like, you can be as strong as you want, and the only person who really kind of embodies that is Andrel. I can do something so well. It's a talent for me, capital T, just like capital tits, and kind of go from there. Like, that's something that really should have been kind of hammered home.
This actually kind of sums up what I was trying to say. Most know what the long term is, and I think we all kind of do. But like, they're blowing the load early in the sense of like, why the extra oaths, why the masking of the bond. This is all stuff that happens later. I don't know. There's a lot of little things that I could be like, I'll add on to that. Masking the bond, I don't necessarily mind so much, but like, there's other things that like, I get it, that makes sense. But you just don't. It seems like they're trying to put certain things in early, and it doesn't seem like there's a reason for it. And then you look at like what they are putting in, and you're just like, well, why am I seeing this stuff with the oath rod when like you don't really need to establish how important that is until later. Now. It's just like, and like, it's this whole like, you spend all this time in season 1 with like stepping in the Aes Sedai and like the death and like the border and like what would happen and like all that stuff. And like, why are we spending so much time with these characters and not establishing the Emmons Field 5 as like the focus of like what's going on?
That's
like,
the foundation. Yeah.
The fact that we got to like one episode where it was like 1 month later, I was like, no, give me an episode and that's the 1 month, like give me one episode of them traveling and figuring shit out and like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean,
anyway.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and we're gonna watch a Taffy video, and we'll be back in like, well, I don't know.
We'll be right back.
Right back.
I was drinking at the bar, and I was feeling so alone. Then you held out your hand, and I got in your car and we went home. And you were nice to me and made me fool. So we went and tied the knot. But now this love I thought I felt for you, it's not feeling all too hot. I've gotta say one thing about this love we got, yeah. Don't make me hit you or pound you with my fist. Bitch, you know you got it coming. Don't make me hit you or kick you in the dick or shave you like a monkey, baby. I see you in my dreams. Your face is like a pancake enema or a cockroach pus scab. I met your family. Your mother must have gotten pregnant by licking the floor of a taxi cab. We're mean to waitresses whenever we go to restaurants. So they spit in our food and never bring us extra napkins. Your breath smells like a baby diaper, filled up by a demon
after eating some carnitas and steak fajitas. Don't make me hit you or pound you with my fist. Bitch, you know you got it coming. Don't make me hit you or kick you in the dick or shave you like a monkey, baby. Don't make me hit you or pound you with my fist. Bitch, you know you got it coming. Don't make me hit you or kick you in the dick or shave you like a monkey, baby. Ooh, yeah. Monkey, 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 baby. Don't make me hit you or kick you in the dick.
This is what's going on, so I'm not on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
We always enjoy a nice taffy break here at a tWoTcast.
the machete on the sharpening stone. You never get old.
Did your drinks get refilled?
I mean, yeah.
Totally.
Hey, don't call my wife that. And yes,
My bladder got emptied, I'd say.
Oh, good.
All right, guys. We've talked about some big things. I want to talk about some maybe big things, but also smaller things real quick.
Yay! Let's do
Adam
it.
Fane, Loyal,
Tom's penis.
maybe a little bit of Volva. What do you guys want to talk about?
Loyal.
All right, let's bring up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Touch on
Loyal.
Loyal.
He was there.
He was there.
He was. He was there. He was. He was there.
What did you guys think? What did Christy? What did you think about Loyal?
Yes, I know that there's kind of this really kind of divided sense of like how he looks on screen.
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it. I do feel like the actor portrayed him extremely well in my head, where he's always talking
Agreed.
to himself and, just in his own thoughts and that
Mumbling.
kind of thing. The tone and the just cadence and everything, totally nailed it.
Good. Yeah, agreed.
But again, opportunity for him to actually be more prevalent and have a significance in the story and in the narrative. And I think that was diminished because, I mean, we all know, obviously, we need Loyal for certain things. And he ends up being a very big, significant thing.
Yeah.
That was all kind of really diminished or taken away for those chances in this season. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like all you had to
one of-
do was
Go ahead, Trent.
if you just made him open the Waygate instead of channeling into it. I just like that by itself. It could just right there, just front and back.
And it would have made sense that even Moraine and Lan are having this meeting and talking to him. It's like, hey, we need him to do this thing. Okay.
But yeah, he just
They needed him to
the
get
fact that
them
he-
through, which I get.
But that wasn't even clear either because he described that the guiding stones were there. He gave that exposition, but you didn't see him being their navigator. So for a non-viewer, he was like there to tell you what the ways was, and like that was it. Or, sorry, for a non-reader.
And you know what? Honestly, and on that note, that's the one thing I didn't think he did well.
Yeah.
Like in the books, he's terrified to go into the ways. He's so against it. And then like in the show, he's like, well, if you need me, I'm going to be there and I'll take you through. And you're like, what the fuck? That is not.
Come on,
his interpretation of the way should be like, why the fuck are we doing this? Last fucking resort. Why? What in the world would you even contemplate going into here? It's insane. that
feel
was
like
not
this is-
conveyed at all.
Yeah, I feel like this is another instance, and I've already referred to at least 2 on here, and it just again and again, I feel like they relied on Moraine saying it's so.
Yeah.
So many things.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
instead of
Come on,
giving
Gandalf.
that kind of
Yeah.
like open exposition of how the I can't
You look more sinister when you drop off.
Sorry, imagine Sing got me for a second.
I honestly just like, what are you really doing? Just sitting in a dark basement?
You actually
just
look like you
completely hidden. All I can see is the pinpoints of light in your eyes. And you're like, that's almost crazy.
Put your
It's almost,
children behind
it's almost
you.
worse.
Yeah.
You guys are forgetting that if it wasn't for Loyal running into Nynaeve in the garden, she never would have found Rand and Met, which
lends to Jonah's Deus Ex Machina. Like, here you go.
hilarious.
They could have done that. They could have done that any other way.
Yeah.
I have spies everywhere. Oh yeah. Well, guess what? You know how I found you? Not my spies, because I saw a ogre walking around. Good enough for me.
Also, I saw a random image of Loyal looking at a large old looking map or something, but you see it from behind, and Moraine and Lan are looking over his shoulder, kind of talking about the ways sort of thing. No, just specifically the ways, I assume. But them going this is what we need to do and blah blah blah, and he's like, oh okay, I can do this. But they cut that out obviously because the scene with him is just I'm so glad you could meet us, and he's like, it was a very hasty meeting, and then they cut to and then he's at the Waygate, and you're just what the fuck? There wasn't even a second of him going, this is going to be very dangerous, we shouldn't do this, there's a million ways to get there, and her going no, we have to get there right now, or yesterday, or there was no, I don't know, that this whole lack of connective tissue in almost every episode is what's bothering me the most, I think, of all the issues that are going on.
Yeah.
And again, we had those issues of stepping and fucking the Aes Sedai and the funerals, and I'm like, why are we watching all this?
We turn every conversation about a character into a referendum on the show.
Well, but I mean,
that's the goal.
That could have happened in a further season. We could have had that explained later. It didn't need to happen in season 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, let's give the optimist note here, right? That certain payoffs are going to happen, right? That certain things are going to just make a lot more sense.
Well, the optimist note is Loyal was awesome as an actor. He did really good.
Oh, fuck yeah. Loyal
I
actor.
also don't really everyone is really hating on his makeup and was stiff. He couldn't emote.
I think he looked great.
At the same time, you're give it a minute. Next
sounds
season
like
will be
him.
better. He
I
does.
do. I love making fun of Paul Balsack, but I feel like Paul actually does some fantastic shit. I feel like Paul could do this probably for $50. I feel like maybe not act as well. I've seen him have sex. It's not that great.
I just like that Chrissy just the second you said Paul Balsack, she's like, I'm just gonna suck on this snow globe.
Oh my god.
I know.
Paul's fantastic. As you know, for those who went to see the show. Yeah, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking. There's an audience beyond us. There's a fifth person here.
There's viewers, Chrissy. There's viewers.
But I think
there are viewers. Okay, yes, no, I
Paul
get
at this show opening or at Jordan Con, honestly, looks fucking fantastic, like a Trolloc, right? So I feel like it's not that out of the realm of possibilities for him to just put a few things on and just. He may not be able to do the acting and the conversation as the guy who plays Loyal does.
Sure,
but I could totally see him doing it. And that's what bothers me.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to see Paul Balsack on TV. No offense, my friend. I want to see some a fucking crazy over the top ogre.
Here's why I keep laughing because I don't think maybe a general group of people knows that you guys are literally giving him a different last name, but
I don't understand.
Are we?
Are we?
Yeah, it's not Balsack.
We're not. Yes, it is.
It's ball. It's not.
Ask him to say it. Ask him to say
it.
What?
Ask him to say it.
He does not say Balsack.
That's not even a word.
We've been saying that for years, Chrissy. Come on.
You've been calling him Balsack for years? Oh god.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to his face. He's well aware.
Well, time to up my game then. Next time I see him, I'm going to call him ball sack.
I'm excited for what you're
I don't want to bleed.
This is a weird tangent. Let's get back on Loyal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The point is, Jono's point is, somebody that's dabbles in prosthetics.
He does
could have
more
done
than
a better
dabble.
job. Is what he's trying to say.
That's what I think he does for like a quasi work. I think really, but like that's certainly not supposed to be at that echelon of what X million dollars of Amazon money goes for. Is no offense is to what Studio Aridani or whatever like that. Maybe it's a giant compliment to what the fuck they do, what Paul and his brother do.
Johnny, you don't know what they can afford for Loyal's makeup. They couldn't even afford balconies, man.
And those were CG balconies.
The unsafe balconies they made. No, but I like in terms of Loyal's looks. Like I honestly,
it's secondary.
A lot of people were giving like a lot of like weight to that, and I was like, "That's fine. It's fine."
At the end of the day,
I would have loved a little bit of more pointy ears or like tufted ears or whatever you want to like pull whatever mental image you have from the books, like versus like how their ears should look. I would have liked that, but other than that, like I thought it was fine. Like, yeah, did it suck that he could barely emote from underneath all that makeup? Yeah, sure, but like maybe that'll get better in as the seasons go on. And like physically and as acting wise, I thought he did a great job.
As soon as he opened his mouth and started talking, I was like, "Oh God,
it was so good." And he's like,
right?
and the little although he could barely emote, the little smile he said when like Rand kept denying that it was Aiel, and he's like, "Oh, an Aielman that pretends he's not an Aielman. This is interesting." And I was like, that, and he's just like the little hints of a smile, and his eyes squinted a little. And I was like, "Oh,
and just starts mumbling to himself." It's great. It's totally.
I love Loyal. I wanted Loyal to be, what we know him to be, which is to like show the ways, to open the ways, as you mentioned, and to, that kind of stuff. And I think that all the stuff that buildings that was cool, but his genuine purpose in the eye of the world to me is like two things. One, to quickly just be a weird kind of, you did what in Camelin? So Camelin's gone. Fine with me. I'm not that upset about that.
Right.
Open up the Waygate to be the usher on the ways. I was playing a video game the other day, Divinity Original Sin 2, and that's what the ways look like. And that game came out a couple years ago. It literally is hexagonal little fucking things that are about this wide. You walk through it, and I almost took a picture, sent it to you guys, and I said, I don't need to do that. That's a little too unnecessary. But
you guys have talked about Loyal more than Loyal talked in the show. Barely. He did say a lot. I actually really want to talk about Patton Fane.
Next character. Yeah.
Next character. Let's talk about Patton Fane. Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about Patton fucking Fane.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
I love him. I love this actor. The actor who plays him is awesome.
Nailed it.
I think that
I know he's crushing it.
He's crushing it all the way around. His origin story is different than I think that we all expect.
Sure.
And maybe they're going to fluff that in season 2. But I'm not upset with Patton Fane at all, other than just it doesn't seem Patton Fane like to give a lot of exposition at the end of this episode here at the end and kind of just walk away. He's a little more fucked up. But I don't know what his orders are. So I've got no problem with it, man. I love his whistling. I love his giant smile.
I love how often they hit him in the shows. That was fun.
Yeah. He's everywhere. He's ubiquitous. You just don't see him, which is a weird thing about ubiquity.
Clint's back.
Hi, Clint.
Clint, what are your thoughts on Patton Fane?
He was fantastic. Same thing. Great whistling, great smile, great just overall creepy vibe.
Would you say it was Fane?
All right, so the main thing I want to talk about with Patton Fane is the fact that he has the fucking dagger at the end. And it, like, what the fuck? Explain this to me if you can. Because I don't think you can.
Because the story needs to happen. That's what it is. The story needs to happen.
I think this is one of those.
So the conflict has to happen. So we need somebody to come take it. That's it.
Was it clear?
From where and how?
That he had it?
Why was it not shown? What did Lan just wrap it up in a towel and throw it in the garbage can and then and then they
That's
left?
what I thought too. Exactly.
What do you think he did with it?
I don't
Nobody
fucking
touched this.
know.
Put it in a dumpster. It's gonna go to the landfill. We're done with it. But he found it.
Yeah,
landfill.
Significance as they put on it. I mean, come on. You know,
He goes into landfill. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's what he calls his asshole.
It's very frustrating that he has the dagger. I like. Again, like, why was there not a scene where Lan took the dagger to the tower and hit it, and then Pat Fane stole it? That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. We see an Aes Sedai doing something shady with it.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in the hands of
that would have been
somebody that
so
we're like,
good because it could have just been like a hand or something, and you're like, who moved the dagger?
"Hey,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
who's
it's a
taking
big
the dagger?
reveal.
What's happening there?
Ends
Yeah.
up it's Leandrin or something
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like,
We
why
could have
nothing?
even
Why
just
nothing?
literally walk by Lan like in Tar Valon and do a quick
Pickpocket?
or something like Tom does with Matt's purse, even, and I would have accepted that. Well, I would
Yeah,
have
basically just pickpocket. Yeah, for sure. Any explanation? Any?
Yeah,
At all.
it's
Literally,
very-
I think I'm with Christy. Literally, any explanation would have been
Anything would have been like, oh, okay.
Yeah, one beats zero is the real quick answer. But I still, as Tom was alluding to, it's not even really that obvious that it's the dagger, which doesn't, like, why are you hiding this thing? I don't know. It's clearly the dagger when you give one or two freeze frames on it. But because the dagger was so loosely done anyway, I think that like the origin story for the weapon makes the payoff later on for another character weaker, and that's just kind of, I think, problematic, right? Like all the way through, all of those kind of, threads have been neutered. But I'm optimistic, stupidly so, that the next season is going to kind of bring that back too, and almost kind of be a weird, like, here's what Matt has become because of ABC. Here's what new Matt character has become because of, and then kind of have, some shit in the past maybe. And the obvious refrain here that is probably obvious, useless, and incorrect is we don't know what the fuck COVID's done, right? You can say that over and over and over and over. So maybe we're going to try to pretend like, well, because of COVID, we couldn't have done this, or because of COVID, we couldn't do this. And maybe they'll actually refilm certain things to kind of add a certain, I don't know the right term. I sounded apparently Italian, but kind of add some shit to it to kind of give that firmament, to give that kind of necessariness.
Pat and Fane is Targaryen, everyone else is. Wyatt Spangler says.
Can't stop.
I mean, he's kind of joking.
No, he's not. Fucking right.
Well, I mean, like, it's just
Spangler. Yeah.
That just makes me think of that line in the first episode where Moraine's like, I hear there's some rumors there's some Taviran in the Two Rivers. We should go there. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like what? And furthermore, the word Taviran gets a little thrown around, unfortunately. So, like, what does that mean? Like, we know what it means, but what does that mean? Like, the audience doesn't know what that means.
They didn't.
Fuck! You know what?
I think in terms of the audience, all they know that it means is that it means they're a potential dragon reborn. And I think, did they do a great job illustrating that? Not necessarily, but I mean, I've been bitching about that since like episode 1, Christy. Like, we were talking about like episode 1, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, there was like literally zero connective tissue in terms of like, you guys are the 5 that we are in concerned with, and like that was not established. Right. Moraine just kind of said like, hey, you guys, it's all about you, and they were like, okay, let's go, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, there was zero like your farms were attacked or like your houses were attacked or nothing. It was just like
them some context.
An attack happened. It's all about you. Let's go. And go. There was
and that again is building stakes. That is building consequence. If you don't do A, B, and C, then this is going to happen. And that was never really kind of established in that pilot, unfortunately.
I don't think I even really thought about it until now, but you're right. Like, Taviran never was defined, and therefore
not really. I mean, it kind of was, but not like in a very
I think it was
like
basically
in a
defined as
fulfilling
important
manner.
to the pattern, right? Like that was like it. Like you're
Yeah.
important.
Right. But, I mean, to Joe's point, he mentioned like, okay, maybe it's one of the 5 people that are the dragon. But we've already said that. We've already said like you could be the dragon. You could be the dragon reborn. So that's established. So then what does teferi mean? Because clearly, obviously, it's something significant and separate. Set that up.
Because they're all 5. Well,
Right?
so then there is the bandied about like thought process of like maybe the dragon has been split into 5 souls. And I was like telling John again, I was going to Tom and John and go like, oh my God, if they go in this direction, I'm gonna be so upset. I mean, like they clearly didn't, but like that being said, like so you started with like there's teferi, and then one of the 5 teferi could be the dragon, and then they go, well, guess what? Maybe the dragon is all 5 of them, and then they go, never mind, it's not. It's just Rand. But then they don't then clearly define what a teferi is outside of the dragon reborn.
Or that there's still teferi once we identify who the dragon is or what that even means. That's
nailed
the
it right there.
You can tell Terrence teferi because he doesn't do shit. You
So
can tell
there's a lot of like
because he's gone.
It seems like they're threading a lot of thoughts into our minds as viewers, and they're not like following through properly. Like they're not like getting us to where we need to get. To comprehend like rewrite the show.
But there was a desire for them to do that. They wanted to build intrigue and mystery around like, okay, could one of the 5 be the dragon, and could it be male or female? And I'm going to throw this out there, but unfortunately, again, it is established in this system, in this world, that there is a clear divide, and we can argue this till the cows come home, like that the true source is divided male and female. And so we do have binary, and we can't blend that line, because then you're losing conflict. You're losing the aspect and the significance of the dragon being a male.
I think you're sexist and offensive.
I'm almost
positive. I'm totally I've gotten kind of heat for it before.
Yeah, well, you can say
it is what it is.
We definitely can't say anything about this.
Yeah,
you can
because guess what? Joe makes a lot of sexist jokes, and so we feel like the best way
just all the time. Just all the time. It's all I do.
Joe's
yeah, because that's Joe's face right there, dude.
Looks just like Joe.
Right?
Joe's going in red hair.
Does
again.
Look just like me.
Joe's in red hair again. Very offensive to me as a ginger myself. But even like honestly, I've got my own personal thoughts. I know that's shocking to hear that a person has thoughts, but like even avoiding that, like I just think they've done a bad job avoiding what should be like not problematic things, right? If you want to avoid things that 1990 versus 2020, or 91 versus 2021 when the things came out, that's fine, right? The world's kind of changed. I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is just sloppy, lazy writing. That bothers me. But no, Tom, you missed the point where I purposely just don't care about any like I don't care about like the obvious things that some people love to get fired up about. Despite all my dick jokes, fuck jokes, pussy jokes, whatever the fuck, I really don't care about people's personalities. I care about like what actually happens as like reality, right? And I think the show fucking missed it in many ways. And I think it's like some of the pieces that are missing are just fucking like foundational.
Yes, they are the foundations of the story. Yeah, they're the foundations of Robert Jordan's world. That's just it.
Right. Yeah.
You can change it how you want to. The idea that you even put in 5 dragons just like doesn't make sense. I don't care if there was supposed to be. I would have loved them to just make Nynaeve the fucking dragon reborn at this point because she's goddamn awesome. And she helps the source, right? Does she not?
No. If you do that, what's at stake then? Because she's a female, she can be trained by female Aes Sedai. If 6 female Aes Sedai can link with her and just blast the Dark One out, done. We have no story, right?
Did you see what happened with Rand here? Did you see what happened with Rand here? Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
Literally, fuck if I know. But guess what? Nynaeve was there. A, she has shown that she cannot be fucking trained because she has to do it on her own in her own weird way. And B, she does help cleanse the source for the male version. Again, that's not the point because maybe the male version doesn't exist. I don't care. She's a fucking gripping character. I'd rather have her as the Dragon Reborn than this weird like thing that they mentioned of like maybe there's 5 dragons. Like fuck you, fuck no, and fuck that. I don't like. I'm glad that it's actually Rand, because that's the character in question. Again, I'm not
like that. Literally, is the crux of the whole Wheel of Time series. If it is not a male and Rand, we have no series. Period. Done. No argument. Can't. I'm gonna die on that hill. Sorry. Fuck you all. I'm dying on that hill. That's what it is.
I don't disagree. Again, I'm saying I'd rather it be Nynaeve than the weirdly alluded to. They alluded to like 5.
It could be 5 people. Yeah.
But yeah.
But clearly they haven't gone that route because we now know what they're doing, right? So you've got to build that up. Now you have to, if you've painted yourself in a corner at this point, which I do feel like there's a lot of moments that they have in season 1. It's okay, how do we back out of this corner and how do we build towards the arc of the series? The engine of the series really is literally, Rand's kind of coming of age into being the savior of the world. That's it. That's what we have to focus on.
Do you think there was any chance that they wrote the first season with the idea in the back of their minds that this would be the only season?
No.
No.
If that's the case, a lot of the choices make sense. Where they ended makes sense, and it's like this is it, and here's the thing, and like that was that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Amazon probably was like, could it be Egwene? Could it be a woman? Because we want to explore those, 2020, 2021 values of female leads and strong female characters. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, this world and this magic system is based on male and female division.
But is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not fucking with you. I'm asking, but is it? I want it to be how the books are, but at the same time, there are certain issues within that. I don't know if that's going to actually happen 100%. And there has been a very obvious gap about it to a certain extent.
Yeah. No, I feel like they probably did try in season 1, but here's what this is my kind of overall feel of season 1. I'm just going to throw it out there, whether I can or not.
Wait.
I've had a lot to drink. Holy crap.
We're going to wrap up soon. So
no. Let's get her drunk.
Yeah. let's see Christy's Billy Zanes.
My Billy Zanes. Well, let me preface by saying that I do feel, and I have to applaud and give kind of credit to Rafe and the team. I feel like that there was a lot of excitement for them to introduce all of these really cool elements about Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. But they crammed it all into one season because it was like, this is cool and that is cool, and we should talk about this and talk about that. And without understanding, we've got to build foundation. This is a fantasy series, right? So while, yes, they showed a lot of these cool elements that we all know and we all love in the books, season 1 might not have been that time to do that. And so my
100%
ranking, my ranking,
ratings.
if you want to do my
Billy
Billy
Zanes, 1 to 10.
Ratings.
Yeah, my Billy Zanes is, unfortunately, there's a lot of other elements added to it. I was not as extremely impressed with some of the direction in some episodes. Clearly, obviously, the CGI had some issues in certain episodes. Editing had certain issues, whatever. So for me, honestly, it is a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
5.5 out of 10 what?
Billy Zanes.
Billy Zanes. Billy Zanes.
Billy Zanes.
I'm over here to 5.5.
Yeah. So Jonah.
Good job,
hold
Jonah.
on. Jonah and I are on the same page. Holy shit.
Actually, I did give it a 5.5 or 6, depending. But
Clint, I'm counting on you to come in on like closer to my numbers, Clint.
Yeah, let's
What's your ratings, Billy Zanes?
I think I'm more like up on like 8 Billy Zanes.
Wow.
Oh wait,
I am, and I gotta tell you why.
Billy Zanes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Of all the folks that I know who not read the books, who watched the show, they described it. They described it kind of the way that I was feeling as I was watching Game of Thrones. Like I knew I was missing a lot of things when I was watching Game of Thrones, but I was really enjoying with what I was presented with. And so overall, definitely sometimes some things were confusing. If I felt that nothing was confusing to a non-reader, I would give it a 10 Billy Zanes. But I do think that there were times when non-readers would probably be like, I don't quite know, but I think most of the times that, from what I can tell, when non-readers are watching this show and they don't understand something, they know it's based off of a really big series of books. They know they're going to be missing some things, but they had a really great time watching it anyway. Matt was funny. Loyal is charming as all hell. There are really interesting group of characters, and people seem excited to watch further. And to me, that's the proof's in the pudding. I mean, they're making a show that people want to continue watching, and I want to continue watching it. So
very well said.
I love talking about it all the time. I definitely have a lot of the same views you guys do about the things that I think that they could have shown things in different ways. It would have been a lot better and everything, but at its core, it's a lot of fun. It's a cool show.
Honestly, I would love to
Billy Zanes from Clint.
Hey, Billy Zanes, right here on you. I keep moving the wrong direction, but guess what? Christy, I wanted to hear more from you, but guess what? Too fucking bad. You're done. We're all done.
Look off.
That is tWoTcast for this week. I know you're upset. We're all upset. I could talk for this about 30, 40 more hours. Not even kidding. But we won't.
Jordan Con, dude. Jordan Con.
Thank you very much. Good old plug for Jordan Con.
This show to do.
My wife actually has a plug that's called Jordan Con. I put it in many things in her. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below.
Christ, Jonah.
I'm sorry. My wife died. In theory, we'll get better at responding to your comments, questions, queries, theories.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can listen to the audio version of the show whenever, wherever. I'll be here, you'll be there. Joe puts it up on the podcast stream, and that's the price
at some point.
Here. At this point, I love you, Joe. I'm going to withhold your Christmas present if you don't start putting these things up.
What about
You're gonna withhold a Christmas present that was due 2 weeks ago anyway? Like what's going on?
I already gave him one of his Christmas presents.
The feud has already begun.
Okay. All right.
There's a hand job. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, great. How was it?
No, okay.
1 out of 10 Billy Zanes? Give me a Billy Zane.
Rating. Ratings.
Yeah.
Ratings. 1 out of 10 Billy Zanes.
tWoTcast is brought to you by the one, the only, the duality that is somehow Taffy Bennington and Andrew Bartatime. Links to their shows, links to their works, their music, their art are below.
Hey.
That is correct.
Next week, tWoTcast.
tWoTcast.
That's also correct.
I'm excited.
tWoTcast does sound both wonderful and at the same time like a juvenile, something that like a 16-year-old is trying to do to like get lit.
Well, perfect for your show then.
That's correct. Yes, Chrissy.
No, I'm good. I just
He's waving goodbye, Jono.
No, saying goodbye to the audience. Because you guys reminded me there's more than just us. There's viewers. So I'm saying
there's also
there
viewers.
You go.
There's also
There
viewers.
you go.
Thank you to our guests. What's our guest name? What's your name here?
Dude. Really?
No, you were supposed to introduce yourself. I am Christy.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Hey, we've been live for 2 hours, but I'm Christy, and I am number 2 of Team Moraine.
I think you're number
That's
1.
correct.
We should do better.
No, I can't. Sarah is number 1. I'm never going to take that from her.
You know who takes number 1 from her all the time? Not a great question.
Oh, God.
Yeah, let's move past
Yeah.
End the show.
Hey, Clint, thank you for being on the show at Trolloc Talk. You're our DM for tWoTcast, and we can't wait to play next week. Thank you for being on our episode tonight.
Always
and also,
great to be
thank
here.
you to the guests that are no longer here. Jenny, Lesby Nerdy. She's amazing. You guys need to watch her shit on YouTube. It's fucking great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And also, Dan and Ryan of The Way of the Leaf.
They're awesome, too.
Yeah, we don't need to say any more words there. They're fantastic.
Everyone's awesome.
They're on live right now.
Go watch them.
Hang up on us.
It's true.
Okay, fuck off, guys.
Yeah, we ran into their show.
Join us next week for more Wheel of Time. We'll be covering tWoTcast. Episode 1. I guess we call it tWoTcast Episode 1.
Yeah.
We're going to be stumbling around the world of the Wheel of Time, and a Trolloc will be helping us through, which, by the way, sounds a little more nefarious than I think that.
Hey, I'm surprised you guys haven't worried about that yet.
Well, we're done. We drink a lot, and we're stupid. Suck brick,
I
kid.
drink a lot.
Joe.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Tom.
Stay your math.
Me.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Joe, no. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast.